I'm not going to say it this time around because it's so cleverly overused. Welcome to Mexico for round 18 of the Transnation Formula One World Championship here for the GP3 F1 category. I'm joined in commentary by Guy Tasker, who elected to not race in this, and joined me back in the commentary booth after a brief absence, taking a bit of a international surfing career from what I hear, instead of being international race driver, please. But either way, we're about to build up to the 5 red light, the formation lap that will build to the 5 red light. So without further ado, Guy Tasker will run us through the TKA media starting grid for the last race of the round, heading to Brazil.
There we go. So off on the formation lap, leading us off, we got Infinite March 96 in the Toro Rosso. Banana Josh won in second place in the Ferrari. Of course, as you say, fighting for those last few with the title already decided, fighting for that second, third place. XNZ Pro 55 pulled it out the bag at the end of qualifying to put it in P3. Naomi 92, the champion, so just fighting for pride really now in P4. Third row of the grid, PMNA in 5th and Big Mike in 6th. Not a bad showing from Big Mike. Jordan Dittmer 711 in 7th place in the second of the Force Indies. Pure Axel 2121. Of course, the first of the GP2 driver really, but does also compete in F1 sometimes. So the first of the big guns in 8th place. Habs for Life 64 in 9th place. Plevs and Stuart McKenzie round off the grid. Of course, they are also F1 drivers, so didn't qualify.
The interesting thing, I checked up and I Google checked it. Andre is Mexican, so I am not being racist when I say that. So Speedy Gonzalez.
What does it translate to though?
I have no idea. It's Speedy Gonzalez, so eat your heart out, little mouse. Either way, we're about ready to get underway, so the cars are now going to line up on the grid. Infinite March looking to try and get race win number 1 of his career. Banana Josh looking to try and get race win number 3 of his career and go back to back. XNZ Pro looking for race win, official win number 2, unofficial win number 3. Naomi 92 looking for race win number 4. Still looking to get that pole position. He's got podiums, he's got race wins, he hasn't got a pole yet. But either way, we're now going to build to the 5 red lights. If lights are, away we go for the Mexican GP3 F1 combined category race. And it was a good, pretty equal start between the two front two. And Banana Josh is going to try and... Oh, whoa, what's going on there? Side-to-side contact heading into turn 1. Infinite March is going to heavily outbrake himself. Banana Josh seizes the opportunity there, fanning out left and right through the first sets of turns.
Oh, there's a few bumps. Is that Pure Axel off at the grass?
Yeah, it is too. And my goodness me, Habs for Life. What a start from him.
Yeah, it's P6.
P9 to P6. Pure Axel 21's been kind of left out to dry.
Yeah, they've all had a few bumps in there, but all in all, a relatively clean first turn. I can't see any front wing damage, so I think everyone got through there. There are a few little, tiny little bumps.
It looked like pure chaos heading into the turn, but it kind of spaced out. Banana Josh already pulling out a gap. Now, Plebs and Stuart McKenzie too have just made a move on Jordan Dittmer, so Jordan Dittmer's fallen down the order. In fact, Plebs has now dropped back to the back of the field. I think he may have got an illegal overtake on Jordan Dittmer, and Pure Axel sees the initiative. Now Jordan Dittmer goes wide off again, and that's going to allow Pure Axel and Plebs back through. So Jordan Dittmer being very courteous to drivers that aren't actually meant to. Oh, Plebs almost spun himself into pit lane with that moment there, but Naomi 92's in already. Front wing damage, so...
I couldn't see any, but obviously he's made the call and he's come in.
He did make a bit of ding-dong with XNZ Pro, so...
There was a bit of contact.
So right now, the best of the professional drivers, if we want to call them that, Stuart McKenzie 2 is now just making a move on Big Mike for P6. but Big Mike's going to have the inside run. Stuart McKenzie 2 locks up, not using... See, this is a contrast, the difference. Stuart McKenzie 2 is not using ABS for this race, so he's going to find himself in a position where overtaking's not going to be the easiest. PM&A, well, actually, XNZ Pro's now right on the back of Infinite March. Infinite March either is struggling or Banana Josh has got the hammer down.
Wow, 2 seconds already. No, there's definitely no front wing damage from Infinite March, so I think Banana Josh is just going for it. He's going all guns blazing and build up a bit of a gap.
Big Mike just went wide. Stuart McKenzie 2 is now taking the initiative.
Yeah, I think so. I think that you might be right there. Banana Josh is running in rich, so I think he's just trying to build a gap, making sure Infinite March isn't within that 1 second.
Pure Axel 21-21 just went into the fence.
Oh. He has front wing damage, yeah.
He pulled a Warlords. He went wide into the...
I see what Plevs, I think, has some front left wing damage as well.
Well, this is kind of what happens when you put the... so Jordan Dittmer's in for front wing damage as well. Running the 23 today. That's an interesting statement. So, well, here's a battle. Here's a good battle. Actually, this is quite a good battle here between...
XNZ Pro going around the outside.
Oh, did I miss that? Oh, he got it done. Nice job.
And he's... Yeah, mate. Whoa.
In saying that, though, another Red Bull versus McLaren battle. Pure Axel's now giving Plebs a bit of a... Oh, and Plebs has gone
went it very wide, and that's going to gift the position to Pure Axel.
But they're both sharing front wing damage, so it could this could be an interesting split. So Habs Alive is still running 2 seconds behind PM&A. That's a really good job, actually, by the Toro Rosso driver. PM&A is now within DRS range of... Now, I'm just trying to figure this out. Has PM&A been catching these two quite rapidly, or has their battling somehow brought PM&A back in?
I think it's their battling, because you look at it, Banana Josh, it's up to 3 seconds now.
So he's making a second a lap, so that's quite impressive. That's the fastest lap of the race, 19.9. We'll just see what Stuart McKenzie 2 does, because he's been quite rapid himself. He's now right within DRS range of Habs for Life. Now, Habs for Life will know the differences between invitational racing and racing, so he probably knows that McKenzie's not racing for points, but rather sheep station, so he won't... If he wants to earn good points, he won't want to fight Stuart McKenzie 2. In fact, I think... It's hard to say really what he's doing, but Plebs is now in, so he's decided that the front wing is now too damaged to carry on. I thought Pure Axel would have taken the initiative too, and now when he was 92's actually cleared Plebs in that process, so... And actually, could he? No, Jordan Dittmer not quite close enough to make the... Actually, you missed a really good race last weekend with Jordan Dittmer. He drove a superb race to finish P4.
Ah.
And more importantly, he out-qualified his teammate for the first time in the season.
Huh. Yeah, whoa.
So this battle between Stuart McKenzie 2
unfortunate.
He's in it for fun, Jordan Dittmer. He's not in it for people.
That's how it should be, really, isn't it? I think.
Okay, we just technical issue here. My controller just died, so.
Oh, I'm just watching Pure Axel having a go at Big Mike here. He's at the inside in the final turn. They're going to go side by side.
You'll just have to bear with me for a couple of minutes. My controller just died, so.
Yeah.
I've got to try and.
So Big Mike and Pure Axel are side by side going into turn 1. Pure Axel's got his nose in front. Big Mike later on the brakes though. Couldn't pull it up. Oh! Big Mike's ran into the back and spun Pure Axel round. And Pure Axel was off. Big Mike's lost half his front wing. But Pure Axel, it was what looked like a little innocuous kind of little tap, but it was enough to send Pure Axel round. And, I guess Big Mike keeps a place in the end.
So I've decided I won't bother finding a controller. I'll just switch to my wheel and use the paddle shifter. So this is going to be really awkward. But so you were saying something about Pure Axel having a spin?
Yeah, Big Mike. They were having a fight, and Big Mike tapped him very lightly at what it looked like on the back, and it was enough to send a Pure Axel round.
Someone's in sector 3.
Oh, it's Big Mike. As I said that, Big Mike did lose half his front wing as he tapped Pure Axel, so I think that might have played a been a factor there. So I think
So I'm
we're
a
going to
bit
see
confused.
big bike.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused here about why it's taken Stuart McKenzie 2 so long to finally get this job done. Sector 2 and Sector 3 is a Big Mike. Oh, big.
That's fine. I'm trying to fight.
Big
I
Mike
can't
just
see
went
any.
flying into the pit wall. Surprised he didn't throw his wheel off in that. Dylan Dittmer's currently holding down P11. Another Sector 2 incident. Oh, it's Habs for Life. I wonder if he and Stuart McKenzie 2 have come together. There's only one way I would have seen that, is that... Oh, and he's spun again, so he's got grit on his tyres.
Yeah.
He's going to be furious about this. But at the moment, he's going to be right in front of Pure Axle at the time, so... PM&A right on the back of... Actually,
and Habs for Life really struggling. He's spun again.
yeah, he needs to kind of come off the acceleration, knowing with all the grit on his tyres. He'll also be... I'd say he's also probably fuming in the helmet, so he needs to just settle down. He just needs to calm down, get your head down. He's still P5 through this all, so he's got P5. He just needs
Still
to calm
good
down.
points. Still got good points to score so far. So,
And
you
PM&A
never know. Safety cars, things like that.
Oh, I thought one of the guys up the front had gone off. It was just Jordan Dittmer getting out of the way. PM&A's just made a move on Infinite March, so PM&A a lot further in the race than I would have predicted, to be perfectly honest with you, but he hasn't had a good run in the last few races, quitting as soon as something remotely bad happened. So good to see Pedro actually running the race and not flinging it off. Now Cleves and Naomi 92 are in a bit of a battle at the moment, and Habs for Life's just got a 3-second time penalty, so he's still hot under the collar. I personally think I'm not going to bother with a podium presentation at the end of this race, because
Yeah.
there's going to be a few
You know what will happen.
there's going to be a few hot-headedness in the
so.
end of it. So yeah, this battle between Naomi 92 and Plebs is actually going on quite well, and it does give you a bit of an interesting contrast of the difference between F1 and GP3. So you've got the GP3 champion against position. Well, we actually are still trying to find out the effectiveness of positions at the moment with the F1, because
Yeah, it gets a little bit complicated, doesn't it? But...
right now Black Mamba has now
and actually, I think I've just seen that XNZ Pro has got a move on and has reeled in Banana Josh.
he has two actually.
Both of which have been running in Rich for quite a while and run down their fuel quite a lot. Just realised as well, so they're trying to make a break for it, I think. But PM&A actually on the super soft tyre is not really falling back from them. He's only 1.5 seconds back. As I say, he's on the harder compound tyre. So.
I did not actually know. I actually thought that was just a tyre glitch, but that's interesting. So yeah, as we were saying about the confusion on the F1 thing, is that Black Mamba 0113 for not attending today's Grand Prix with unexplained notice has been terminated from the F1 results. So at the moment, that moves myself up to second, you up to third, and then I think that put John Polainen fifth, fourth, Xeri, well maybe Xeri or Plebs will finish. So back to my statement, that's the difference between the GP3 World Champion and fifth or sixth in the F1 Championship. So
yeah.
So eventually my point got across after a while.
Yeah.
So Pure Axel's now in. He's going to change his
I've
wing.
just seen XNZ Pro is just coming to the pits as well, so he's going for the undercut on Banana Josh, I think.
So new front wing and the soft tyre, super soft this time. So not taking the advice of his last race in GP2, although he did admit that that was a mistake on his end because the team didn't made his tyre choice wrong. So right now, just looking at the state of play, So XNZ Pro now is, it's just a bit awkward using the wheel, 21.1 seconds ahead behind Banana Josh. Now, when Warlords undercut Stuart McKenzie 2 in the GP2 race, the gap was 18 seconds, and Banana Josh has actually come in to cover.
Yeah, I think you had to do that. And he's 18 seconds now, so
it could be close. So where is the XNZ Pro on? Oh, hang on, there's something going on here.
He's just coming around the final corner.
And Banana Josh is now about to get on the gas.
Just about the pits. I think XNZ Pro. Oh,
XNZ Pro will have the momentum, so XNZ Pro will get it. Now there was a bit of a ding-dong battle there between Plevs and Habs for Life. So Habs for Life has been drawn in by Plevs, and that's a different strategy now. These two are effectively teammates, so they don't want to be playing silly games. And there is a bit of silly games. There is a bit of silliness going on there. Plevs just trying to tell Habs for Life, I've got this position, back off. Habs for Life tries to go deep on the brakes, doesn't.
Oh, he's got it back on the inside there.
Yeah,
maybe gave Habs a little push off there.
Yeah, he's throwing his elbows out, and someone's gone off at sector 1. It's PM&A. You've got to be kidding me. Come on, PM&A, stay in it. Come on, put it in reverse, stay in it.
Oh, struggling.
I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, perhaps.
He's staying there, so I don't know. And disqualified for parked in a dangerous location, so
oh dear.
Every time it's when he's in such a strong position, he just.
So I've also just seen Banana Josh all over the back of XNZ Pro here. We come down the home straight, but XNZ Pro on the supers, Banana Josh has gone for another blast on the ultras. So
now there's a sector 3 yellow flag. Oh, this is going to get ugly, and he spun him. So yeah, that was quite damning because it looked like Banana Josh actually did cut across him.
Yeah.
And poor Infinite March earns another 3-second time penalty, having to try and get around him. Now Habs for Life is in as well. He's going on the super softs. Priya Axel does the fastest lap of the race. Now we're 92s now, right on the back of Plevs, which is revitalising that battle that initially kind of fell away because of Plevs making gains on Habs for Life. So I don't know what the outcome of that situation with Habs for Life and Plevs was, because in the end it looks like he's come in. Now Stuart McKenzie 2's come back out in 4th place, and he's 11 seconds off the lead.
Well, I mean, 11 seconds for him, you'd expect he's able to make that in if he's really pushing it. So
well, he is only 2 seconds behind XNZ Pro as well, so in the state of play of things, yeah, that battle, that incident probably will get looked at. Big Mike now with the penalty, because the way it looks is that Banana Josh did turn in, didn't give XNZ Pro any space at all. So
yeah, I think that will be well, I'd be very surprised if XNZ Pro didn't.
I've known him long enough to know that he'll do it. He'll be personally aggrieved. And this is definitely why I'm not having I don't think I'm going to do an interview at the end of the race. I think I'm just going to go straight to editing GP2 for this instead of dealing with the public. It's not going to be a pretty pleasant. I say there's going to be a lot of conversation about the F1 merge, but I mean it's just like anything. All the results from the F1 and GP2 drivers don't count. So the effective order at the moment is Banana Josh, XNZ Pro, Infinite March, Naomi 92, Big Mike 46385, Habs for Life, and Jordan Dittmer. So again, another good recovery drive by Naomi 92, despite the fact he came in lap 1 to fix his front wing.
Yeah, for that P6 actually, that's pretty impressive. On the soft tyre at the moment.
And he is still giving Plevs
stop again.
Yeah, but he is giving Plevs a bit of a push along.
Yeah, he is. Those two are having a pretty consistent tussle here.
And at the moment, so look at this. So Stuart McKenzie 2 now right within DRS range of Infinite March, but he only must have just got onto that point because there's no DRS on the number 1 Mercedes. But we'll see if it comes through here. Will he have it active there? No. So, of course, there is only one activation point in things. So, Purex at 21-21, I'm a bit surprised about. I suppose you call it lackluster pace.
Perhaps he's reliant on that setup that he usually have.
Well, and that's an interesting state. So, it looks like even with the default setup, Stuart Mackenzie 2 does seem to have a bit more pace over Pure Axle 21-21. It's either that or because of the front wing damage that Pure Axle did have, it might have just put him out of a thing here. So Infinite March still having to go at XNZ Pro, although Infinite March is on fresher tyres, I do believe, and XNZ Pro's tyres would have taken quite a bit of a whack from the spin.
Yeah, it's true. But I think perhaps addressing that situation and letting XNZ Pro through there would have saved him now, Josh. But,
in saying that though, the gap is quite huge at that point, so you're not going to, I think sometimes you're just going to have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just checking the team radio. Habs for Life still talking about screwed settings, so, and it does look like that the game has set them on, so we'll set them off, so he had been running no assists. So that's an interesting case now. What does Stuart Mackenzie 2 do here? Because he knows if he screws up here and takes Infinite March out, it's going to...
I wonder whether the game, because Habs for Life was in the commentary, am I right, for F1?
Yeah.
So he was in that lobby where the settings were forced to...
be off, and then going to another session.
Yeah. It did that. It might have just kept those settings for him. It's a bit of a glitch in the game, I guess.
Although in saying that, it would have affected him in the previous races too, given he's been doing commentary for F1.
Oh, that's a good
actually,
point.
hang on. There was one race that he didn't. I think it might have been USA actually. Japan, I'm not so sure about because. Oh no, USA he did race. He didn't get very far because of an incident on lap 1, so Big Mike another penalty. The field's kind of settled down a little bit, so Stuart Mackenzie 2 actually through all that did get through on Infinite March. It's an interesting showing at the moment with the F1 drivers versus the GP3 drivers, because you kind of get to see the pace between the differential in pace. So you've got Stuart Mackenzie 2 who, whilst he's in GP2 and could be likely to be crowned the GP2 champion next weekend, he is F1 speed. So you're seeing an F1 driver here tackling a will-be F1 driver next season in XNZ Pro, but current GP3. So you can see the differential between the two drivers' pace.
Yeah, and I have to say, XNZ Pro, he has improved throughout the season, without a doubt.
Well, I think it's the win in Italy that's boosted his confidence. He's been up the front a lot more often. He's been battling for the win a lot more often. I mean, he could have won Singapore if it wasn't for making a mistake on the last lap. And with the handful of penalties he had, gifting Naomi 92 his first win. He kind of dug his own hole in Japan where he could have won as well. And right now he's battling an F1 driver for which will still be second place, but second outright. Actually, Naomi 92's now dropped to a point where Pure Axle 21-21's starting to have a bit of a sniff. And for Naomi 92, it's just a matter of scoring points for him. I mean, he's just He's got P4 under his wraps now with where he is. PM&A kind of has ruined his chances of second in the championship, and with CAJ probably unlikely to return for the rest of the season, it means that the battle for second will go down between Banana Josh and XNZ Pro. But I think if Banana Josh wins this race today, I think he'll cement second in the championship.
Yeah, well, I suppose that makes it even more likely that we're going to see a protest come in from XNZ Pro.
Yeah, well, that's the case too. But
it's understandable. I don't bet. I would as well in his position. I'm sure. So
without a doubt, especially if it was for a battle in the championship and especially against the guy that you're fighting against for the championship. Because, like for example, if it was you that did it to me on the last race, I would have thought that was your way of trying to stop me from winning the world championship. Or
yeah, but I mean, you deserve it. So
well, I just just on the basis that I could be the unofficial world champion right now, might be saying something. So XNZ Pro is now coming under
I've
real.
just seen Banana Josh has just had a time penalty.
Yeah, so he's at the moment he's got 2, which will put him 6 seconds. XNZ Pro doesn't have any. Now, this will be the good test here to see Stuart McKenzie 2's pace versus Banana Josh. Can McKenzie, in 18 laps, rope in at 11 seconds?
I mean, I think so, because Banana Josh is going to have to go on to the Super Softs next, and at the moment, Stuart McKenzie is gaining on him, and he's on this harder compounded tyre, so. Although that being said, Banana Joshes are going to be quite worn by now, so I think Stuart McKenzie can, having seen the pace that he's got.
And in saying that too, the timing of the pit stops are critical, because I would say he must be pretty damn close to the end of his stint, because he came in to cover XNZ Pro, and XNZ Pro came in about lap 6 or 7, so
I think it was 7 or 8, I think.
So he is due for a pit stop.
Yeah.
Any tick of the clock. In fact, no, he's not coming in yet. Big Mike, his teammate, currently has now got another.
I think it might have been lap 8. So yeah, either way, definitely give you a pit stop in a lap or so.
So Infinite March is still right on the back of XNZ Pro, and this is something March needs to do. March needs to get his fists out and dispose of XNZ Pro, so that if he can utilise the pace, because you can see it now that the gap that Stuart McKenzie 2 is now starting to bring back in on Banana Josh is evident that the tyres on the Ferrari are starting to fall away. So XNZ Pro has a penalty, Infinite March has a couple, so he's got to try and settle down and just drive to a rhythm. Although I suppose in saying that, once you get a penalty, it's very hard to get back into a rhythm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So much of it is just getting that rhythm, getting that feel for the circuit, and just settling down. Sometimes you get those races where you just can't. Things keep happening. Those are the ones that are
like Monaco and all those kind of circuits for me.
Yeah.
Like, once you just, no matter how hard you try, you just can't get in the rhythm, because you just don't like the track, you don't suit the track, it doesn't suit you, so you spend the whole time wondering what misery is going to befall you next.
Yeah.
So Banana Josh is in now, so he'll be on soft tyres. So this is actually compounding his strategy even worse.
Interesting.
I mean, in saying that, the Super Softs in the GP2 race did fall away quite early. A lot earlier, and the conditions were a lot different, so could be that the softs could be the better choice of tyre to get to the end on. Might not necessarily be the best on the pace scale. The battles are now starting to settle in. I think Habs for Life is now settled into a pace. Oh, there's a battle now. XNZ Pro.
Yeah, XNZ Pro and Infinite March.
March has got the inside run.
So Banana Josh fitting the soft. Interesting. He obviously doesn't feel he could take the super softs to the end.
So March has now made that move, but he's got to try and now pull a gap to XNZ Pro. And that, okay, so now XNZ Pro's now just pushed his boundaries a little bit and now earn a penalty, but it'll be interesting to see where these guys line up. Although Banana Josh is only 3 seconds behind these two, so in saying that, he can use these, once his tyres get up there, he could catch up to these guys. These two need to react. Ooh, March thought about it. March thought about covering, but they're just obviously trying to push to the point where the Ultras come into play. So XNZ Pro's now going to have another look, get that position back. March goes wide and doesn't fight. So, I mean, you can look at the accident between Banana Josh and XNZ Pro in two different ways, really. But from the angle that we saw it, it was pretty plain to say that XNZ Pro had the corner and Banana Josh just outbraked himself and shut the door.
Came across his nose completely, I think.
Of course, I think.
But again, it'd be
pretty sure
interesting
Banana
to see.
Josh will argue that point.
Yeah, I'm sure that there'll be more than one view to it. I'm sure seeing a replay of it, I think, would be interesting. Which is a feature that would definitely be welcomed into
for sure.
edition.
So,
if anyone from Cody's happens to be listening, hint.
So, well, if you hadn't missed those 3 days of beta testing, you might have been able to tell us, but shit happens. So, Pure Axel 2121's actually managed to get past an LB92 through all this. Didn't quite see the overtake. And, XNZ Pro 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in pit lane. So, pushed his boundaries even further. Now he's got an 8. Well, if he doesn't stop again, which I know he will. Actually, given the state of play, he could pit again. But he's got a 10-second time. He's got a 13-second time penalty now to his name.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That does make things a bit harder for him. So, whereabouts? Ooh, so XNZ Pro. Let's see.
He's lost that big time to Banana Josh through all this.
I'm trying to figure out what's happened to him there. Has he had to change a front wing or something?
I don't know, because the gap...
He's now 19 seconds down.
Yeah, 19 seconds behind from what was initially less than 11.
People. Yeah. I wonder whether he's had to change some front wing.
Maybe
might have had a coming together with Infinite March
maybe the incident with Banana Josh did take a bit of his front wing with it, and that's maybe why Infinite March was able to hone in on him.
Yeah, that's very true.
Speaking of honing in, Banana Josh is now honed into the back of Infinite March, so the two battlers from USA are going to do battle again, only this time it's for P2 effect on track, but for officialness, this is the race lead, so Banana Josh is going to go up the inside, March is going to hold around the outside, and that's how you make the overtake step. Oh, actually, I kind of take that one back a little bit. March just outbraked himself, gave Banana Josh a bit of a punt, and as a result, Banana Josh went off the circuit and got a 3-second time penalty. So there's a bit going on, but it wasn't March's fault. But before all that, that was how you make an overtake at turn 1, and that's how you give space. So Banana Josh will be kind of looking at that, thinking, well, okay, maybe I did make a mistake to XNZ Pro. So yeah, that's interesting because, well, I suppose the best way we'll know if XNZ Pros had to do anything is when March comes in. March will give us an indication of whether or not he's had to do something, or this is just what the gap looks like. Because when you think about it, he only came out 3 seconds behind these two after his pit stop, and he roped them in quite quickly. So the fact that now Banana Josh has made a pass on Infinite March on different strategies would probably explain the difference in the gap.
Yeah.
Oh, incident sector 2, Jordan Dittmer Oh, that's a big crash. And that's in the far sector of Sector 2, so...
Oh, yeah, so...
He's had a... Looks like he's obviously had a massive tank
Are we going to see a safety car?
Well, this would kill XNZ Pro unless he comes in and serves his 5-second stop-go. It's not really going to put anyone at a complete advantage or disadvantage. All it's going to do is mean that those with penalties are going to have to try and push, which at the moment is pretty much everyone in the, apart from now 92, in the GP3 side of things. But it looks like Jordan Dittmer's car's been cleared, so no safety car. Habs Life is now, and I wonder if he was jumping at the choice of a safety car and just elected to come in.
Yeah.
Either that,
it's worth a go, worth a gamble. Why not when you're pretty safe in 8th place as he is?
And that will still be effectively 5th place by the end of the result, so it'll be still a good result for Habs Life coming into this weekend. Claimed his car drove like a donkey in the GP2 race. It doesn't seem so bad now. March is in, so March could go on the Ultras, which he is doing. So now let's see where... So XNZ Pro is now coming down the straight, so yeah, I think it's just... It's just Banana Josh's pace on the softs after the stop was just really good. Now we're 92, 5-second stop, go speeding in pit lane. Oh dear. And Pure Axel now does the fastest lap of the race at 19 flat. You haven't seen much of Pure Axel in this race, so he's just chugging along. Obviously looking just to have a race. Wasn't able to race in the, well, what was part of the F1 race, I suppose. We did have like 3 or 4 laps before disconnection happened, so everything seems to be in order. I'm just checking team radio. Team radio seems clear. I thought people would have started firing off some things in the pit. Stuart McKenzie too.
Oh, and Stuart McKenzie into the pits now, so the race leader into fit super softs.
Yep, so he could have gone to...
He doesn't want to take the Ultras to the end.
Yeah, you wouldn't get them on 10 laps, even fresh, so Banana Josh will take the lead. Cleves is still out, so Cleves could be doing the one stop, maybe. Be very gutsy to do it, to be honest. So XNZ Pro is actually gaining on Cleves, actually. Yeah. He's actually gaining on Cleves too, so that's quite interesting.
Well, XNZ Pro is still almost 18 seconds back from the leader, so it looks like Banana Josh is going to have this one in the bag, barring any major mistakes.
And in saying that too, if you take the penalties into account and then whatever penalty could be dished out, I don't think it's going to actually affect the race result. So
yeah, because I can't see it being could it be a 20-second? I doubt it. That would be the upper.
That would be the word that. The way we look at it is that a 20-second time penalty would only be awarded to someone that did it on a last lap incident that would deem the difference between a race result. But with it being halfway through some way halfway through the race,
I can see it being maybe a 10 seconds. So I don't think it's gonna.
Well, 10-second. Well, you got to look at. You'll have to see what the result is at the end. Well, the gap at the end of the race. Add 10 seconds, and then that could be your time. But we'll leave that up to the steward to decide. We've already had a few backlashes about people, from people about us talking about dishing out penalties before stewards have had a look at the race. But Infinite March now, fastest lap of the race, 18 flat, so more than a second faster than Pure Axel. So Cleve's running P3 could be running a one-stop strategy. That could be interesting to see if that pays off. Does make you wonder though if he was going to run this strategy in the F1 race.
Yeah, well, whether he's decided to just mix it up because this race isn't for points, or whether he's decided to see if what he was going to try how it would have worked. I don't know.
Well, personally speaking, what would your plan be for the race today?
I was going to go for the 2-stop.
See, I was actually thinking about the 3-stop, because when you look at it, the 3-stop might not necessarily be the bad choice, especially if you've got the pace to back it up. But I think tyre dig would have been quite bad for a while, but it's a matter of what could have been. But no more battles starting to form, so the field's quite spread out. So Stuart Mackenzie too, despite all that, still comes out P2. So the raw pace of the Mercedes plus his talents as an F1 driver showing, and he is starting to slowly pull that gap in, but 8 laps, 9 seconds, if he can pull out a second a lap, it's not impossible. In fact, what we'll do is we'll run the lap data as well for Stuart Mackenzie 2, and Infinite March has now just got a 3-second time penalty, so we'll just go back and watch Banana Josh and see what his lap time is, and then we'll verse it to Stuart Mackenzie 2 and see what kind of time, how much time that Stuart Mackenzie 2 will be pulling in. Oh, as I say that, Stuart Mackenzie 2 now finally gets his first penalty of the race. He'll be wishing he kind of had this consistency at in the GP2 race, because by this time he had already got his third penalty.
If he's anything like me, sometimes there are problems of as soon as you get one penalty, the rest just seem to follow so quickly.
So Banana Josh crosses the line, does his 19.7 on that lap. And Stuart Mackenzie 2 is actually going to have to deal with Big Mike through this next lap. Does it 18.5, so that's a second difference.
Yeah.
That's a second difference. So if Mackenzie can keep pulling in that kind of lap time every lap for the next few laps, it could be game on.
It'll make for an interesting last lap or two.
And Infinite March is now also on the back of, coming to the back of the XNZ Pro, so the Ultra Soft starting to play effect now. What's Big Mike going to do? Is he going to play the team game and hold Mackenzie up, even though it's not really for position?
He's got a time penalty for cutting the corner.
And he's giving it up, so really didn't want to fight it. But look at that, 7.6 seconds in the space. It was 9.2 in the first, at the start of the lap, so there's a fair bit of brake locking, bit of brake smoke flying off in the distance there. I just wonder if maybe that's just my eyes there. Stuart Mackenzie 2 locking his brakes, coming into 6.8. He is pulling the gap in. What's the... Oh, Infinite March is disconnected, so that's the first time in a while. Yep, Stuart Mackenzie's got fuel to burn. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that plumes of smoke I'm starting to see out of the back of Banana Josh's Ferrari?
Ooh,
I think it is.
Sure.
That Ferrari, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
That's interesting. So, could there be a suspected engine issue
is he
now?
Just locking up in every corner, and that is.
Well, that could be the thing. But if he's locking up through here, let's see, he's just spinning through.
Can't see any there.
Maybe it's just the backdrop being a bit misty, but just definitely.
I'm wondering whether it's every time there he seemed to get some. He just clipped to put 2 wheels up the other side of the curb. I'm wondering whether it's just some dust kicking up from the edge of the track.
Just have a look at Stuart Mackenzie 2 to confirm this. It does. It'd be definitely a race-changing situation for Banana Josh if a suspected engine issue came into play. I mean, it's not the first time. It happened in Italy for myself when my MG UK failed. So Ferrari could be battling a few reliability issues. Infinite March still hasn't come back, so that's going to promote Pure Axle up to P5. Banana Josh another 3-second time penalty. So I'll actually get you to check the race director and see who's got what of the top 2 between Banana Josh and XNZ Pro, because if Banana Josh keeps pushing his boundary, he might end up behind the XNZ Pro anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna have a look at the penalties that they've got.
And while you do that, Infinite March's Ghost has now come in onto the Ultra Super Soft, so that's going to put Naomi 92 up to position 6, so that's put him up to position. That's effectively put Naomi 92 back on the podium. So he started P3, Naomi 92. He's going to P4. He's going to potentially finish P3. Habs for life. If Infinite March doesn't come back, he's going to get another P4 finish. So that could lighten the mood a little bit for the Canadian. The gap now 3.4 seconds, so Banana Josh now will soon start to feel the pressure, and the Trans-Tasman battle between New Zealand and Australia will commence.
So, Banana Josh has 12 seconds worth of penalties. XNZ Pro currently only has 3, but he does also have a stop-go on top of that.
So
but has he served that?
No, so it's 13 seconds versus 12 seconds.
So it's
so
13 and 12, so it's pretty even.
So it would actually end up being 13 seconds the difference by the end of the race in favour of Banana Josh. So Banana Josh has to earn himself a few more penalties, or okay, so Infinite March has come back, but will he get back in his car in time for... See, I thought Habs for Life would have been in a bit more of a better position to strike there, but it looks like... Yeah, so that's the first time since Hungary, no, before Hungary, so what was the race before Hungary? That would have been Silverstone. So Silverstone, between Silverstone and here, Infinite March has been able to stay in a race. So this is the first time in a good handful of races that Infinite March is disconnected from a race.
Well, that's progress. I know the feeling very well.
Well, I think it's on the account. Normally Naomi 92 hosts these races. Now there's something happened in sector somewhere. Oh, it's Big Mike, I think. It was sector 3. Yeah, I think it was Big Mike. It
must have been, I think.
He lost it coming through somewhere, but so Infinite March has now come back. So Habs for Life unable to take initiative and get that position from his teammate. Now Plebs is starting to pull in Pure Axel as well, but that's because Plebs is now on the Super Soft. So the theory of the one-stop's gone out the window. 1.6 seconds now the gap between Banana Josh and Stuart McKenzie too. And Banana Josh is pushing, and you can tell because his car is just getting thrown left, right, just showing, extending the track limits.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he will want to, even though he knows that it won't cost him points in the championship, losing to Stuart McKenzie. He knows he will want to send out a bit of a statement, really, show that he can mix it with these. Oh, and as we say that, it's another 3 seconds.
Oh, and Infinite March
so he can mix it with the big boys.
Infinite March has come back in and put back on the Super Soft, and I think I saw a front wing change as well.
Ooh.
So coming back into the session, and then immediately...
Perhaps the fastest lap attempt for Infinite March.
Well, it could be. And it does, what this does do is promote his teammate up to position 4, so Habs for Life looking for a P4 finish, which would be a pretty good statement given he finished 4th in USA and then was out at lap 1. And now I'm starting to see it's a graphical glitch with Banana Josh's car. It's the aero. It's the aero flow of the car. That's what's making me look like there's steam coming out of the car.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Well, that's a new one for me.
There was some beautiful shots in Malaysia of the cars going down the back straight towards the last turn, where you could see the aero, the airflow from the aerodynamics of the car, and it was quite a spectacle. So this one's a bit dodgy looking, so but we're going to see a tussle here in any stage of the plot. Banana Josh will now have... Oh, and McKenzie got a really good run. Someone's gone off at sector 2. Big Mike again through the far sector. So here we go. Stuart McKenzie 2's got the run, got the DRS, he's got the straight line speed. He's got it done easy. Banana Josh is going
to back at him. Stuart McKenzie's outbroke himself there.
Yeah,
that's got him back.
And that's the thing, sector 3 is that Banana. Yeah, it's Big Mike again, so he's got grit. He's got grit on his tyres. He needs to.
He's having some problems there.
So Can Banana Josh hold off Stuart McKenzie 2 for one more lap after this one to take bragging rights of winning the Grand Prix on track and by effectiveness?
Well, we know that the best opportunity is down that home straight, and he's only going to have to go down it once more. So if he can hold on down the straight one more time,
well,
then
there is one more. There is one more location, and it's coming up right here.
Yeah, it's not impossible to.
He's going for it. Ooh, he thought better for it, but he can set himself up for a move up the inside here. He's not doing it. He is looking for the last. I think he is going for the last line approach because he just wants to.
Yeah, he's
cruise
going
past.
for a good exit out of here.
Ooh, oh god, that could have been so dangerously close to contact
he got
between
a very
the two.
good exit.
And he's going to go for the outside this time, which.
Going to cruise down with that DRS as well. Banana Josh doesn't
Yeah, he's going to hold
have
the
an answer
string.
for it. He's going to go for a bit of a lunge up the inside, is he? He has. Ooh.
And got a 3
he's
seconds.
himself for 3 seconds.
Oh, and there's Stuart McKenzie too, earned himself one in the process as well, so.
Cancelled each other out there.
Yeah. There's a battle. Plebs is now also right on the back of Pure Axel as well, but I think Plebs doesn't have enough time. Oh, hang on. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, Banana Josh has got back through. Well done.
I don't know whether Mackenzie actually just let him through or whether he made a mistake there.
I think he's made a mistake because if he was letting him through, he wouldn't be right up his doorstep trying to punterino him. So, what a battle. And, Mackenzie got a good run coming out of here. Plebs has now got a time penalty. Mackenzie's going to try and go around the outside.
On the Josh.
He's fighting the issue.
Blocking up.
Oh, the last thing you want to do is bin it here. Stuart McKenzie 2's going to...
Oh, Banana just desperately trying to get it back through.
No, but alas, so Stuart McKenzie 2 from the back of the grid will take the victory on the by track, but Banana Josh will take the victory overall.
No. Not on penalties, but yeah.
Not on penalties.
So for the GP3, yeah.
So 9 seconds ended up being the difference. Now let's see what the gap is. So 19 seconds XNZ Pro lost through all this. He's going to cross the line. It's now going to move to only 13. Oh no! Pure Axel now crosses the line third. Plebs fourth. So XNZ Pro goes to fifth. Well, now we're 90. No, now we're 92. Way too far away to be considered a problem. So the GP3 World Champions now gonna cross the line and claim effectively the podium. So that's P3 for Habs, Naomi 92. Habs for Life will cross the line. Once he gets there, he's going to be the last of the finishers. He's going to cross home for position 4. Maybe I might try and talk to the drivers here, and I'm expecting you to come in with me because I'm not doing this alone. So we'll do our best and try and talk to these drivers without hopefully too much drama. Nope, my scope's going to play out. Okay, well, I think I'll just wrap it up and I'll just do a mock presentation for the drivers. So it's been Brett Keenan, Guy Tasker, bringing you coverage of the Trans Nation Formula One World Championship here in Mexico. Tune in next week when we go to Brazil for the penultimate round of the Trans Nation Formula One World Championship, where we could potentially crown both F1 and GP2 heading towards Abu Dhabi. So Brett Keenan, Guy Tasker signing out from Mexico.